Hey guys, we're back. This time we're taking a look at Disney Villainous, The Worst Takes Them All. And it's a very interesting game that makes use of all of the Disney villains from the various animated movies that they've put out over the years. And you're playing the game from their perspective, taking on the roles of one of those villains and trying to achieve your goals and accomplish your specific scenario before the other villains can accomplish theirs. Meanwhile, you're sending off heroes to basically try to thwart the plans of your opponents. It's a pretty fun family game, and my wife and kids like it, and we enjoy playing it together. So we're going to get in and take a look. First thing we have is our rule book. They do suggest that you watch a video to learn how to play. It does make it a lot easier. The game seems a lot more complicated than it really is looking through your components, and it's mainly because each of the villains plays completely different, and we'll get to that more when we get to them. But there's a setup scenario on how to put everything out, what a game is going to be looking like in progress, what everything is, and then basic how to do each turn and each of the various actions in the game. I thought it was pretty easy to follow, but I've seen people who said they were kind of confused by it, so maybe it's because I was an existing gamer and then got into this instead of being new to this type of gaming. But then we have a reference and an FAQ in the back. And the whole thing is got different quotes, and you see the silhouettes. I think that's Cruella de Vil on there throughout different things. So the next thing we have here are the player boards, and each player is going to get a board specific to their character. And in this box set we have Maleficent, Prince John, Captain Hook, Jafar, the Queen of Hearts, and Ursula. Each one of them has a quote on here from their movie, and their objective is down here underneath them. These open up to show a bunch of different locations from their movie, and they have different icons on each of these so that when you move to them, those are the actions that you're going to be able to perform. Next thing in here we have are the card decks. And I absolutely love the artwork on the back of here. It's kind of like a schematic, but it's all themed to the expansion. Like this one is Captain Hook, so everything's pirate themed. And then every character has 2 decks of cards, one in their color theme and one in white. You can barely see that on camera, but they have, I don't know why they didn't do these with black outlines instead of the tan. It kind of blends in, but definitely separates the 2 decks. The colored one is your character deck. So here's where you're going to have your allies, which you're going to use to defeat the heroes. You have condition cards, which you can play at any time, even on other people's turns, depending on the state of the board. Items, which you can use at specific locations for various effects during the game. Some items are equipment that have to be equipped onto a specific ally. And then there's effect cards that have a one-time use and go away. I think there's some other types too, just not in Hook's deck here. I think that's pretty much everything he has. So each one of these though is completely unique and themed to the specific character. As well as those, you have the White Fate decks here, and these are pretty much the good guys, the heroes of the story. And you have your hero characters. They also have effects that are one-time use. And then there's items, and the items get equipped onto the various heroes to give them special abilities or boost their stats. And these are what your opponents are going to be using against you to block your path and thwart your plans and stop you from achieving your goals. I'm not going to go through each of those, but there's those 2 decks for each of the 6 characters in this base box. Each of the heroes comes with these 3 pawns that you use as a marker to move along your board to know where your current villain is. I was kind of disappointed in the fact that you can see on this one, there's these weird little cracks, like in the molding of the plastic. For being a Disney product, they seem to have done a really terrible job on them. But it is neat that they're unique to each character. So we have Ursula there. That's Maleficent. We have the Red Queen. Jafar. Captain Hook. And Prince John, and you can even see if I can get it to show up on camera on my Prince John. Yeah, like this whole, I thought it was like a mold release, like grease on there, but it's actually deformed. You can see how these sides are all shiny. I know it's really hard to catch on camera, but this side, yeah, it literally looks like it's something stuck on there, like somebody put a sticker on it and peeled off, but it won't wash off. But not terrible, but I expected better quality from something with a Disney license. You get a handful of special tokens. This is used in higher player counts so that you can't basically gang up on one player. It forces you to attack a different player. So when somebody gets attacked, they put this on them and you can't attack that same person again until somebody else is attacked, and this will move to them. And you have these little padlock tokens. Some of the villains have areas on their board that are locked at the beginning of the game. Those are used to designate that, and they have to do something special to unlock them. Then we have these power tokens. These are used to keep track of the power you gain throughout the course of the game, and then you need to spend power in order to use certain abilities or summon certain allies to your side. And if anything, these are probably the cheapest component in the game, I think, but they do the purpose just fine. And we also have this thing, they call it the cauldron. It's really thin plastic, which is kind of disappointing, but this is actually supposed to go in the middle of the table and hold all of the power, which it functions and serves its purpose well, but honestly, I don't think most of the time most people even going to bother with it, especially once you get some of the expansions and you need more room in the base box to fit everything. This is like the first thing that goes, but it's there and it serves its purpose out of the box. Then we have these little basically cheat sheet reference cards, and on one side they have a list of all the symbols that are found on the various player boards, and it tells you what each one of them is. It doesn't tell you what they do, you have to look that up in the book, but having the exact term associated with them helps you look it up easier. On the flip side of these, they have the villains, the 6 villains that are in this box set, and it explains what each of them needs to do in order to win, so you can kind of keep an eye, like Captain Hook must find Peter Pan from the Fate deck, he must have the Hangman's Tree unlocked, and he's got to move Peter Pan to the Jolly Roger and then defeat him there. So you know if the Hangman's Tree is unlocked, Peter Pan's in play, and he's slowly moving him across the board, then you know he's pretty close to winning, and you need to do something to stop that. Same goes for the other villains. They come in very handy being able to look up and see, oh, that's what they're trying to achieve, and know what you need to do to stop them. And then probably the coolest thing that comes in here are these little villain guides, they call them. And there's one for each of the characters. And these are used to basically help a player figure out how to play a character. So inside, they show you how to play the character. In this case, Maleficent has curses, which none of the other villains have. And her whole book is mainly dedicated to explaining how those curses work and how you can best use them in order to win the game. Whereas a villain like Jafar has your objective on what you need to do to win, in which case for him you need to unlock the Cave of Wonders with the Scarab Pendant, get the magic lamp played to the Cave of Wonders, which summons a genie, and then hypnotize the genie and get the magic lamp to the Sultan's palace. Sounds like a lot, but then you have your special setup. One of your locations starts locked. And it tells you about the Scarab Pendant. That's what you need to unlock that location. So you need to find that. They have things that allow you to pick up cards from your discard pile and things that allow you to draw extra cards, which you can use to find the pendant or find the lamp. There's the lamp. And then it talks about the genie and how you have to charm him and so on. So basically on here it's got what you need, how to do it, how to go about claiming victory. Each one of these guides, like I said, is unique to each of the villains and does a good job of explaining what you need in order to win with that character. And then finally we have a nice insert here. It's got enough room for the decks, although they're not separated, so you have to put 2 in each. You got spots in here to put the character pawns. The cauldron fits just in the middle. Though now that I have expansions, I'm probably going to be removing this tray and replacing it with something 3D printed that will hold all the characters from all the expansions. So as far as the gameplay goes, we have it set up here for just a basic game. Can't see the other players, but assume they're there. And we're going to start with a hand of 4 cards. And we're going to decide what we want to do here. And this one allows you to move a hero to an unlocked position. We don't have any heroes yet, so that's no good to us. Discard an item or ally to gain 3 power. We don't have either, so that's no good to us right now. We do have an item that we can play and an ally. And then on our board here we have our different locations we can go to. The Cave of Wonders is locked for Jafar right now. So ideally what we're looking to do is gain some power from the cauldron here so that we can do stuff and maybe thwart our enemies to screw up their plans. We need to discard some cards to get rid of the ones we don't need currently and try to draw into something that'll get us the lamp into play and the scarab to unlock this. So I think what we're going to do on our first turn is go to the streets of Agrabah here. And we have 4 icons spread across this. And the first one is the gain power symbol, which is right here. And it has a number 1 on it, so we're going to gain 1 power that we can use later to use abilities and things. Our other one over here is the fate symbol, which is right there. That's what allows us to attack other players. So we're going to choose one of our opponents. In this case, we'll say Maleficent. And we're going to draw the top 2 cards from her fate deck. We're going to look at these and decide which one we want to do. They each have an effect down here at the bottom. In this case, they're both heroes. So you can move one ally from an adjacent location to this one. She doesn't have anything in play right now because we're just starting out. Prince Philip's here. When he's played, he may discard all allies from his location. Again, she doesn't have any in play, but of the 2, Philip's harder to defeat. So we're going to make use of that. We're going to play Prince Philip to one of her locations. And you have 4 different locations here you can play on. It's going to go on Maleficent's board. And basically, if you can see, there's an outline here where they go. When they're played, they block those 2 abilities. So now when you go to that location, you only have 2 available instead of 4. So you got to keep that in mind, that you can block off certain things of theirs in doing so, and it's something else they have to deal with to continue on with their evil plans. The next thing we have here is the play a card icon, which is right here, and we're going to take our 1 power that we have and we're going to play a palace guard. Now we pay our 1 power because that's what they cost right here. And this can go on any location. It does not have to go on the one I'm on. I'm just going to put it here for now because we don't know where we're actually going to need him. But he gives us 2 attack power down here, which can be used to stop a hero. If we get a hero card and played, they have a power level down here. So say Raja was here. He's a 2, Raja's a 4. I don't know enough to beat him yet. I would need another guard or something to boost his stats up. But for now, he's in play under our control. And then our last option here is the discard, which is here, discard cards. We can discard as many cards as we want. So in this case, we're going to discard 3 because we're really trying to fish here. And we're going to discard them over here and draw back up to 4 cards to end our turn. And we got a condition card, so depending on if the conditions are met here, if anyone has 3 or more allies, that's not likely to happen in anytime soon, maybe in a couple turns. We got another hourglass, same thing we already got rid of. We have an equipment card that costs 0 to play. That'll get +1, so we can boost our palace guard up to a 3 if we wanted. And then we got another sacrifice, so we can destroy, like we could play the hourglass for 1 and then sacrifice it using him to gain 3 power, so we're basically gaining 2 power out of it. But none of the cards we needed. We're still looking for the lamp, we're looking for the scarab to open the Cave of Wonders, and so on. So then it would go on to the next player's turn and go around the table. When it comes back to us, we can move to another location. You can't stay in the same one unless you have a card that specifically says you can, which I don't think Jafar does. But we would move to a new location. So over here, you can do these activations in any order. So in this case, we got 3 power here, so we'll take our 3 power. Now we can play a card if we wanted. I say for 0, we can play our sword and equip it to our palace guard. Now he has an extra. There's 2 play cards on there. I don't think we need to play the other one. I can if I wanted to. So in this case, we'll play it here for 1. And this card has a new icon on it here. This activation icon, which is also on our board right here, and it's on the one that we're on. And since we're on here now, we can choose to activate that if we wanted to. And in this case, it would make heroes have -2 strength. Doesn't do me any good because there's no heroes there, but it's just another option of something you can do. And you're going to build up your forces down here. Eventually, you're going to find what you need to unlock this. And then the icon here is a move icon, which allows you to move an item or ally. You're going to get the lamp here, and you're eventually going to move it over. Jafar's goal is to get the lamp over here to the palace, and then charm the genie using one of his hypnotize spells. There's our pendant. There's a hypnotize there. So you can charm the genie, make him on your side. So if you have the lamp here and you charm the genie, Jafar will win. Sounds easy. It's a lot harder than it is, but that's just the basics of how to play, and this is going to change depending on which character you play, because you're going to have different icons out here, as well as different goals and different cards in your deck available to you. That's going to wrap it up for our look at Disney Villainous, the worst takes it all. And if you like these characters, if you're familiar with the Disney villains and you want to be the bad guy and try to accomplish your goals and get your plans fulfilled without being thwarted by the heroes, it's something interesting and worth trying out. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's something I can play with the family. And there's not too many games that we all like that we play together, so it's nice to have something like that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.